double click. If you're on your phone, if you will tap on my picture 2 times, it will peg it or pin it. I'm sorry, pin, P-I-N, it. So what? Hush, Kathy. So what you're seeing. So what I'm showing you will show up in the main frame.
Okay.
Yep.
I always enjoy Karen being on because I can understand what she says.
Excellent. That's the Southern
go.
accent.
You go, girl. Y'all see that?
Yes.
Whole time.
Yes.
And just so everyone knows, we are recording this for the benefit of the rest of our Fanatics group. So if you're opposed to it, you might want to hide your face or something. I don't know, but just so you know. All right, here we go. Brad, it is 5:03 if you want to get started.
Okay, well, here we go. This is what I do, and I'll go over this Monday night, but I keep this short jumper wire of the underground electric fence on. I hang it on this barbed wire fence, and I do that to it. I've always got it out here, and even though I have a tattletale light that comes on when the fence is off, I want to know when the fence is weak. So I jump from the hot wire to the post, and when it's arcing a good 1/4 of an inch like that, I don't know if y'all can see the blue spark or not, but it's working good. That has nothing to do with nest checks, but that's one of my things. So that's what I do. Okay, Kathy, sing them a song while I lower the gourd rack.
Hey, I do have a special request for your camera operator. Can she move to your other side? Because when she...
All right, go over there.
Yeah, because we're facing into the sun.
Can you go out there?
Step on his tomato plants. Oh, that's much better. Thank you. Better lighting.
I didn't think we could have done this at 6 o'clock if we'd have wanted to.
Boy, it sounds like you need some grease on that winch.
I did grease it. I came out here an hour ago and oiled the doggone thing.
He earled it. He earled it with Earl.
Oil. No, we don't use Earl. We use oil.
Oil.
Earl's down at the barn on the other gourd rack.
Is that oil as in AWWL?
Yes. Motor oil.
You did unplug the electric guard, right?
No, I did not. I never do.
Oh, no, are you kidding?
No, ma'am.
You leave it on while you're checking?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's cool. That's brave.
Well, I mean, when you get, it doesn't, yeah, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that bad. Okay. I don't have numbers on my gourds. I just don't. I don't like them. They peel off. The paint fades. Here's Brad's system. This arm, these 2 arms always face northwest. Northwest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Southwest, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Southeast, northeast. That's how I keep up with it. It works in my head. It doesn't have to work in yours.
Boy, Rat.
What did he say? What did he say? Such a good Southern answer. That's what you're gonna get from me. It may not be good, but it's gonna be Southern. Got a little special treat for you in this gourd. Say, hey, mama.
Oh, hello.
Pretty girl.
I don't know how many eggs. That's spelled AIGS. I don't know how many eggs are in there because she's in there. Okay. When I do my first nest check after eggs start getting laid, I put 7 in the gourd. That's all it takes. I tap it, I dump it in. And by the way, there are 6 eggs in that gourd.
And mama.
And mama. That makes 7. Okay, there are eggs in that gourd. Y'all see?
Yes, perfect.
Yes,
How many are there? Can you count them?
3.
I see 4.
Might be
I
a
think-
4th under that leaf.
That's
I
the
think so.
problem with Martins is they use all these leaves, and I normally blow. That didn't work. When I have them facing good, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 eggs. Here goes the 7
And it looks like about a 1/4 teaspoon.
at the most. Yeah, it doesn't take much, and more's not better.
No.
So that's gourd 2. Northwest gourd 2 has 5 eggs. That one has none. It has leaves, but no eggs. Northwest gourd 4 has eggs. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 eggs. A little dab of that'll do you. I know I've posted this, but I apply 7 3 times per season. I apply it when I put nesting material in. I apply it when the oldest birds lay. There are no eggs in that gourd. When the oldest birds start laying, I reapply it. And then about my last safe nest check, where before nestlings start flying out of the gourds, I put it in again. Is Shannon Poole Smith on?
No.
Well, la di da. I wanted to show her this. She was talking yesterday about, or last night, about having gourds that had minimal nests and some that had a bunch. This gourd has a tremendous amount of nesting material in it. I don't know if you guys can see all that or not, but
Yep, we can see it.
it's way over half full.
So Brad, do you buy a fresh package of 7 each year?
Yes. Yes. 7, once it's open, doesn't have a great shelf life.
Okay, good.
So this is 6. It's Northwest 6. This is
Brad, that looks like that's
Southwest
a grain.
4. So, looks like what?
Is that a granule type 7? Look like
No,
you're
it's
using?
powder. It's
Powder. Okay.
yeah, it's almost what it basically is, like flour. As far as I know, this is the only container. I'll show you the container in just a second. It has a yellow lid. This is the only 7 that is now sold that the active ingredient is carbaryl. It's 5% carbaryl.
Yeah.
That is the only 7 that you want to use in your gourds.
Is it?
The other stuff may be a different chemical. It all used to be carbaryl. But when they changed some regulation, they started taking different, they started putting different ingredients in it. I'll give y'all a little pro tip. Brad's not as dumb as he acts like he is. He checked these gourds yesterday.
Yeah, you got to watch him.
Well, the last thing I wanted to do was pull a dead ASY bird out of a gourd for the whole world to see.
Yeah.
And they do die.
No.
Do what?
It ain't your first rodeo, man.
No, it's not.
So Brad, it
So
looks
Brad,
like- go ahead, Karen.
I have a question, Brad. Are you recording or writing down what is in each gourd as you go, or how do you do
I'm
that?
I'm not today. Here's how I normally do this. My daughter, this is my normal daughter father time. She
Okay.
likes checking the nest. So she checks and I write, and I check and she writes. So that's just how we
Okay.
do that. And
Two-man job.
it is here for sure.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It needs to be a 4-man job.
So another way of doing this that I do, because my husband is very opposed to mites and getting anywhere near these gourds, is I have a Walmart voice recorder that I got. It's about $33, something like that. And you can pin it to your shirt. And as you go through and check your nest, you can just say gourd XYZ, so many eggs. And then of course you have to transcribe it later, but I don't have a daughter that would stand out there and write them down for me like Brad does. So,
Well, truth be told, that won't happen for me much longer either, because mine graduates from college next Saturday. So
oh, congratulations.
thank you. Guess I'll be getting one of those voice recorders pretty soon.
Yeah, it's very helpful because you can record everything. And I got to tell you, during the winter, you can go back and play your voice recorder and hear all the martins singing during the winter.
Oh, this one has eggs. You'll see the eggs.
Yes. And green leaves.
And green leaves and brown leaves. How many gourds do you guys want me to check? All of them, or some of them, or is this
No,
enough? Or
That's enough for me. Basically, I wanted to see how other people check them, because
Right.
basically that's what me and Ronnie, it's how we do it. Ronnie does help me, and what he'll check and I'll write, or he'll write and I'll check. The only difference is I haven't been putting the 7 dust in mine.
right. Do you do nest changes like Kathy?
When it's necessary, I will.
Okay.
If last year I had to do a big one because of the mites, but normally we haven't, knock on wood, had mites here too bad. Or if the nest is really nasty, we will.
Or wet. Yeah.
Wet. Yes, wet.
Or yes, or
Okay.
wet.
I do want to show you guys this. You see how little nesting materials in this gourd?
Yeah.
That is there because that wasn't that way when I put the nesting material in the gourds. Let me give Laurie the camera for just a second. I can do something else. I can show you guys how much I put in there.
If you could show toward the entrance a little bit, that kind of gives me a level mark.
Okay. Okay. There's, well, I know that's going to be upside down.
Actually, you had it right. Okay. There it is. Perfect.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, I keep a 5-gallon bucket with me in case I need it with nesting material in it when I do nest checks. And the reason for that is because this gourd, that's how I pre-nest. I don't organize it. I just stuff about as much in there as I can get in there. The martins will organize it themselves. But what happened here on this gourd is either a bluebird or a pair of martins have been taking nesting material out of this gourd and moving it to another gourd. I've seen them do that. So, well, I'm going to raise the rack back up if y'all are good with that. Does anybody else want to see me do anything
Quick
that you
question,
haven't
Brad.
seen? Yes.
So we had pre-nested as well, and it seemed as if a few of the gourds we put too much in, and it was about a third blocked. When I looked from the Martin view, you know,
Right.
going in, is that too much, or did they just knock it out of the way?
At an established colony, it's not too much. At your place, I can't answer that, Travis. That was
Fair
Travis, wasn't it? So you see, can you see that?
Yeah, I got it.
I mean,
can
if you
see-
look in that, when I look in that tunnel, all I see is pine straw. And we can stay on and answer questions as long as y'all want to, but I'm going to go ahead and raise these back up unless, does anybody else want to see anything gourd specific?
Brad, I do. I want to, if you could talk a little bit about the modifications you made. That's the Lewis modification to your Conley entrance.
Yes, the Lewis modification, 100% saved my colony. I guess I wasn't careful enough reading the instructions, as Kathy gasps. He doesn't put his as close to flush with the top of the entrance as I did mine. He leaves his a good 1/8 of an inch. Well, I put mine flush, and he later posted that he was concerned that my Martins wouldn't enter them, but they have no trouble at all. This is a not PVC, some other kind of plastic. It's an irrigation tee is what it is that I added to these gourds in 2011. And I used Lexel caulk to hold them on with. They're still out here. They've been hanging since 2011. That's pretty good caulk.
You use Lexel?
Lexel, yes.
Okay. Brad, could you do me a favor and show me the entrance one more time so I can get a screenshot for our tour, please?
Sure.
Right there.
Good evening.
Perfect.
Anybody
Brad,
else? Yes.
That extra vent that you have there,
Yes.
is that for more ventilation for air to go through or what?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's for added ventilation. And here's
Okay.
why heat rises. We all know heat rises. Well, this is the highest point in the gourd, so I've got it closer to here. When you buy the threaded caps, it's over here. So it's not, I mean, it's going to help some, but in my mind, it helps more with it being up higher. And
Okay.
I also put black tees on it, so the sunlight would heat that tee, which, in my understanding of thermodynamics, with this tee being hot, or I guess it would be if I said, with this tee being hot, it's actually creating a draw through the entrance. Now, whether it does or not, I don't know, but it sure did sound good.
What size tee is that?
It's a 3/4. It's threaded on this end. It's actually threaded on both sides. That's a male thread and a female thread. So you could
Okay.
plug that in the winter. Yes,
That's a street elbow, I believe they call them, don't they?
a street ale. You're correct.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep,
we plug
that's
ours. I have plugs. I put mine because we get colder for a while. Then I take the
Sure,
plugs out
absolutely.
about another 3 weeks or so.
Okay, does anybody else have any gourd specific questions before I raise the gourd rack?
Brad, it's Kathy. I apologize. Can you do one more
Oh, you're
close up of the Lewis Conley entrance? I messed up the screenshot. Sorry.
You're fine.
Hold still right there. 1 second. All right, hang on. Let me verify. Got it. Perfect. Thank you.
Yay. If anybody wants to make a homemade steel rack, this is really easy to make while I got it down. That is a 3/8 log chain link welded to a piece of 2.5 inch ID pipe, 1 inch OD with 3/4 inch EMT arm screwed into it to reduce the weight. That rack probably costs, whole and all, $200.
Wow, that's awesome. So how are your gourds mounted with
With single strand copper wire. It's encased and it's house wire. It's not stranded. Just solid copper wire, 12 gauge. That's the way I've hung my gourds ever since I started using them. It lets them swing back and forth, which is good.
I have heard of that. I've never seen it before, but that's cool.
That's the old Southern way of doing it.
Need that baling wire.
I did get hit by this predator guard one time last year, checking the poles. I didn't cry, but I wanted to.
Give Lori a good laugh.
Yeah, it would have. That's for sure.
So Laurie, when he says turn the power off, you say yes. Okay, sure.
I'm smart enough to know when that red light over there is blinking that y'all can't see right now. If it's not blinking, it's not on. It doesn't take you guys as long to raise and lower yours as it does me, because mine are taller than most people's gourd racks.
How tall are they?
That's an 18-foot pole. I mean, a 21-foot pole, 3 feet in the ground. So the top ones are probably a little over 17 feet.
So did you create those to make them look like Geminis? Your round ring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's a cool shot there. Wow.
So what?
The one we're seeing now. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I made those winter of 19. I didn't have the tools to do that when I made these others. So I will never make another aluminum rack to go on an aluminum pole. From now on, if I do an aluminum rack, I'll use a steel pole. It slides so much better. Okay, I'm going to the house. Thank
Brad,
you, Laurie.
I didn't notice any decoys out there. Do you have some, or I just didn't see them?
I haven't put them up yet. We don't have,
Oh, okay.
we don't get the migrating hawks that you guys get in Louisiana. Very rarely. I had a, what did I have? I had a sharp shin come through a couple weeks ago, and it did get a bird. I should have had a decoy up, but I didn't.
Okay.
But that's a good question. I definitely put them out fledging season.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
So now, let's see.
So Kathy and Brad, are y'all going to put out like an Excel spreadsheet or something that those of us that do nest checks and keep up with them, are y'all going to post something that we can put them on there to keep track of it?
We can. I usually use the one from the PMCA. Brad, it looks like you use a paper printout.
I do.
Okay.
Just a very simple. That's just how I keep up with mine. It's very simple. I got plenty of room to scribble. So that's just how I do it.
That'd be great if y'all would share those. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post a link in our site to the one from the PMCA. And Brad, if you'd like to share yours, is yours a file, like an Excel file or something?
It is.
Okay, good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now we can talk about nest checks for the next hour if you guys want to, but I've got females incubating eggs, so I don't like to leave, run them off the nest any longer than I have to.
Oh, absolutely.
If I'd have been, if I hadn't been videoing this, I'd have had that rack down, checked, and back up in 15 minutes tops.
So apparently closed caption thinks that you said Inky Bacon.
I probably did. I don't know what I would have said that would sound that way.
Inky
Look,
Bacon.
Siri doesn't even work on my phone. So she can't talk to me.
Inky Bacon.
So
Well,
do you guys see the topography of that field?
Yes,
That's why those racks are that tall.
because you have trees back there that are that.
Well, no, the trees are 150 yards away, but that behind those racks, that field gains elevation over about 100 feet or so. So 100 feet away, all you see is the top half of those poles. If I'd have put those on 16 foot, like yours, Kathy, if I'd have put them on a rack like yours,
Yeah.
they would not be able to, they would have to gain elevation more quickly to make it over that hill.
Right.
They always pick the site at the barn first, because those gourd racks are actually on top of that ridge that you see right there.
Yep.
And that's a big deal getting away from hawks. If they can drop off the rack and gain altitude over a couple 100 feet or 500 or 600 feet, they get away from them almost every time. So, all right, Kathy, stall. I'm gonna try to swap over to my laptop now.
Is that your battery alarm?
No, I think somebody's getting a text.
Okay. So does anybody have any questions, even if it's not about nest checks or anything? Any questions?
I do.
Okay.
What if you have a nest, say it has 7 eggs in it? Would you leave all 7 in there for that female to have to hatch? I'm sorry.
So the question is, if you have a nest with 7 eggs, do you leave them all in there for that female to hatch? I know Brad is switching over, so I'll answer what I do is yes, I leave them, because I figure the purple martins know better than I do what they're dealing with. And they know if their eggs are fertile or not. And they will usually deal with it. There are times that I have 7 eggs and all 7 hatch. And the female, usually an adult female, will bring all 7 of the nestlings through. There are times when they don't bring all 7 through. And there are times when a subadult female will lay 7 eggs and she can't, her and her male cannot feed 7, or they can't keep up with them, or something happens. But anyway, the bottom line is, yes, I leave all 7 eggs in there. And even if they hatch 7 nestlings, I leave all 7 in there. So there are times when, if you see that you have a runt in the 7, that you can move a runt to another nest, but that should be done only with caution. And if you move a runt to another nest, you want to make sure that that other nest does not have any more than 5 nestlings in it, because that pair already knows what they need to do to bring those 5 nestlings through. So you don't want to overload them either. But if you have a nest where a female and a male only have 1 or 2 nestlings, and you have a runt in another nest, then you can move that runt to that 1 or 2 pair, or sorry, 1 or 2 nestling nest. But I try to not interfere as much as possible.
Okay.
Because they know what they're doing. Brad, you want to address that question as well? We cannot hear you, Brad. No audio. Still no audio. Oh, wait.
Or no picture either.
No, I can see it. I can see his picture. Can you not see his picture?
I can't, no.
Brad, you do not have audio. But anyway, the bottom line is that I try to do as little interference as possible. Brad, you want to talk? 2 minutes. All right. Hey, sign language is good. We got it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, this is confusing. I'm now talking on my phone, but I am, let's see. And
There, you're back.
there we go. Okay. I agree with everything that I heard that you said, Kathy. I didn't hear everything. I was trying to unsuccessfully to swap my phone over. I do not interfere unless I have to. And I think that's what you said.
That is, yep. Basically, yep.
The way I look at it, if they laid 7 eggs, they felt like they could raise 7 nestlings.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
they
the
don't
reason
just, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, the reason I asked the question is like last year, she laid 7 eggs, all 7 hatched. And when we went to do a nest check, there was one little bitty runt and he was shoved all the way to the back. And I was like, well, do I leave him? Do I take him out? What do I do with him? So I left him. But by the time I went back and did another nest check, he had perished.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I should have took him on out and put him in another nest because I think his brothers, sisters were taking all the food from him. In that case, yeah, I should have moved him. Yes or no? Or
Well, you have 2 options, in my opinion, in that situation. What I normally do is move the runt to the front of the nest. And then I'll go back and check in a few days and see if he's still in the front or if they've pushed him back to the back. Or you can take them out and put them with like sized nestlings.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a good point too. They have to be like sized. Yep.
Yeah, don't put them in there with nestlings smaller than them. That's one benefit. I mean, their downfalls to having a large colony. I mean, Kathy, in my opinion, technically has a large colony too, but mine's larger.
Yeah.
But I can always find a nest to put a nestling in until I get, after my first 100 nest fledge, it becomes a problem then. But, and that's another thing that you guys with growing colonies need to keep in mind. There is in Brad's world, there is a no-go point where I do not let the racks down anymore. I know some people continue to let them down until they fledge. I have had some really horrible experiences trying to do that.
Agreed.
What's fledge age? I have to look all this up every year.
26, 32.
Okay. I don't let mine down, period, after about 20 days. So when my oldest nestlings get 20 days old, I don't let them down again until they fledge. Until I know there's no more nestlings over 20 days old on those racks.
Right.
That is one reason that I don't participate in the PMCA's, what is it, Martin Watch?
Yeah, Project Martin Watch.
Yeah, I don't do my nest checks like they require them to be done. It's not really a frequency thing, but they want you to continue letting them down until they fledge, I think. But I did that. I did that the first year and got lucky because I had 4 pair and they all started laying about the same time. I did it the second year and it was an absolute disaster. I had nestlings jumping out of the nest trying to fly. They were landing in the hay field. I couldn't find them. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I've tried to do it another time just to, I've been letting them down every 3 days. I did it one year. I let one gourd rack down like 3 times a week just to see if they get used to it. And I still had nestlings jump. So it's just not worth it to me. I mean, I'm not a great record keeper. I've never have been. I never will be. If I had one gourd rack, I still wouldn't be. But my job, the way I perceive my job is to keep them safe, eliminate sparrows and starlings, keep raccoons and snakes out of the gourds, check for problems, and how many fledge is how many fledge. I like to have a general idea of that, but I can't tell you specifically how many fledge from my side every year. It's always just a educated guess.
That is a big challenge that I learned as well. I have 3 gourd racks, but it is a big challenge when you start having different age nestlings on a gourd rack, especially when some are just hatching and some are getting ready to fledge. It is really hard to manage that situation. So you have to try to figure out, you have to know in advance who's going to hatch when. I don't, I'm a little bit different with you, Brad. I don't add the 7 dust until they're about 10 to 12 days old. Maybe
Right.
I should add it a little bit earlier because that's when the explosions happen, is around 10 to 12 days old. But if the nest gets wet, it can cause a lot of chaos here too. But anyway, back to the point. I sometimes try to compromise with that, and I'll take a ladder out and lower my rack. And if I know where there are going to be hatchlings, for example, I'll make sure I can reach them even though I have fledges coming out of other gourds. And the reason is because sometimes you end up with capped eggs, and it may be 1 capped egg or it may be 2, but who knows. But I I always feel bad even if I lose 1 capped egg. So I do try to check for that when I know the hatching day. The 2 days that they're hatching, I do try to check and make sure that there are no capped eggs in there, because that is such an avoidable issue.
It really is an avoidable issue, and I'll touch on it again as it starts happening. But I know I made several posts about it last year. A capped egg is only a capped egg if it's capped on the round end of the egg.
Yes.
If you find an egg in your nest that's capped when you're doing a nest check, if the end that's not capped is the round end of the egg, don't try to get the cap off, because it's not hurting anything. Where a capped egg hurts you is when the cap goes over the round end. The round end of the egg is where the air cell is. So when the chick gets ready to hatch, they actually have a tooth on the end of their beak that they pip with. That's the technical term for where they start breaking out the little ring of eggshell to take the top off the egg. They break through the air cell, which is just part of the membrane of the egg that attaches from the top, and then they can breathe. And that's where the capped egg gets you. They pip through the membrane, but they can't breathe because the other cap is over the top of their egg, so they're not getting any oxygen and they just suffocate. But if it's on the pointy end, it's not going to stop them from hatching, and you could actually, you could break the egg. They're not very strong. You have to be very, very careful with them.
So Brad, can you explain to everybody how a capped egg happens, just so everybody knows?
It's just a freak occurrence of one chick hatching. They push the top of the egg off with their with their head after they pip around the perimeter of the eggshell with their egg tooth. They push it off, it flips over, and if all the stars line up, it just goes right on top of another egg.
Yep.
It's their brother or sister's top part of their eggshell, and they just fit almost perfectly. And they're not always easy to get off either.
So I received a question a while back, and I know what I answered, but is it advisable or not advisable to help the chick out of the egg?
Not in Brad's world, it's not.
I agree. I'm glad you said that, because absolutely not, because you can break blood veins, as I understand it, right, Brad?
Yes.
Blood veins, and cause that chick to die if you try to help them pull the shell off. They need to pull the shell off themselves, right?
Yes. The shell's not going to come off the chick until the egg yolk. Okay, I'm going on Dr. Chicken Gizzard on you guys now. So the egg yolk is in the egg for one purpose. It feeds the baby. It feeds the nestling. So you have their belly button. This is their belly button. The egg yolk, before they hatch, right before they hatch, pulls up through their belly button, and then their navel heals. So the egg yolk is inside. That's why the abdomen on baby birds is so large compared to the rest of them, because that's the egg yolk that's inside there. That's what feeds them. In a chicken, it feeds them for 3 days. In a purple martin, I really don't know. I suspect it's about 3 days, and I can get into that reason later. But if the eggshell's not dry, the membrane's not dry, and that yolk's not absorbed into that through the abdomen into the abdominal cavity, and you pull the shell off, you probably just killed that baby bird, and that's not what you want to do. And you're gonna cry, and you're gonna be upset for a week, and
Yeah.
so no, you're not. Most of the time, this is probably a bad generalization, but most of the time it's better to do nothing than it is to do something you're not comfortable with.
I agree.
Nature will take care of itself.
Exactly. You need to let nature take care of itself. I'm glad you said that, because you don't want people pulling eggshells off. Okay, just
No.
uncapping eggs.
No.
Kathy.
Karen, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Question, how
I'm
often
sorry.
do you do nest checks?
How often?
How often? Like once a week, or once they start hatching more
I
often?
try to do one once a week. I'm not gonna lie, I don't get that done a lot of times. We have a farm. If I've got to bale hay, I got to bale hay.
Right.
I don't always check them all on the same day either. I may let 2 down and check them Tuesday afternoon, 2 down, check them Thursday afternoon, the other 3 on Saturday. I really do nest checks just so I can keep kind of just keep a good idea of what's going on and the timing of things. There's people that do them every day, and if that's what they want to do, more power to them. I don't look down on them for doing them every day, and I hope they don't look down on me for not doing them once a week. I do try to do them once a week, but it just doesn't always work out. What about you, Kathy?
I do them once a week, every 5 to 7 days, and I'll do part of mine on one day and the rest on the next day. I take a couple of extra gourds out there with me, because in case we've had a big rain or something, if something's wet and nasty, I can just switch them right into another gourd pretty quickly. If I run out of spare gourds to switch them into, I make sure I have a bucket with me that I can put the nestlings into and clean their gourd out. I'm really mite averse. I'm mite risk averse. So what I do too is I carry a Ziploc of alcohol wipes with me. So if the mites start crawling up my arms, I do wipe off my arms and stuff, so I don't bring them too much in the house. But that's the only thing. But I do once a week. Also, I don't do more than that. It's too much work. It's too much interruption to the incubation. It's too much interruption also to the feeding cycle, and I just don't like messing them up that much.
Okay.
I agree. There are people that, and I wish Tiffany was still on here. She was on earlier. She asked me, she had done like 3 nest checks one week, and she finally asked me if she was doing them too much. And I said, yes, you need to leave them alone. Let them do what they're going to do. And she asked me how long she needed to wait. And I said, wait a month. I was joking, but I said, wait a month. And her response was, well, I guess I better not tell you what her response was, but it was pretty funny. But I definitely don't see any reason to do them more than twice a week.
No.
Other than I'm sure there are, most of you, when you see the little ugly pink babies go, oh, I don't get the warm fuzzies. You guys have got to remember, I was in the commercial poultry industry. I have seen tens of millions of baby chickens. The cute factor wore off me a long time ago. There is nothing uglier. If y'all haven't read my reply yet, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you there's no baby bird on the face of this earth uglier than a baby purple martin. So go ahead and hate on me now.
I disagree. A tufted titmice is the ugliest baby bird.
Mr. Mohawk.
Yeah.
Travis, did you have a question?
No.
Some man had a question.
That was me, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys. I've got to go. We're having a birthday party here. The kids, I better get my tail up
Yep,
there. I'm
you
gonna
better.
be in trouble. So thank you very much for all the info. I appreciate it.
You're
Glad
welcome.
you joined us. Glad
Okay.
you joined us.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, we didn't have a question. In case you've been noticed, we've been gawking for a while. We've got about 7 floating around here between ASYs, SY. We can't tell if it's SYs or females.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, Travis and Adriana.
Sorry, we're
That's
going
great.
like this. They haven't
That's
landed
okay.
yet, but I'm about ready to go pop that Gemini because the tree swallows aren't around right now.
Hi. Awesome. Hey, who joined us on the Galaxy A20? You're on mute if you're speaking.
Hello, it's me, Lisa. I'm sorry I'm late.
Hey, Lisa, no problem. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know if I don't even remember what I said while I was out there, but there is my nest check bucket. Kathy, you mentioned using one. I use one too.
Yeah.
And I use it because I keep pine needles, and so I guess I did show it to you, but you never know when you're going to need some nesting material. You never know when you're going to have a nest that needs changed out. Baby birds die, adult birds die. And when it's 90 degrees in the summer and it's been 6 or 7 days since you checked your nest, an adult bird or a baby bird that died is a nasty thing.
It's nasty. Yeah, I agree.
It's nasty.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree.
When I find one of those,
Mm-hmm.
I take nesting material out of my bucket. I put it on the ground. I take the live birds out. I put them in the bucket with some nesting material. Take the old stuff out, throw it in the pasture, put new nesting material back in. I do try to get it kind of neat and packed down when I do at that time, but then I put the birds back.
Good. Yeah, that's a good point. If you run across dead birds or whatever, you're going to need that another bucket or throw it in the pasture like you do for the discards.
Yes.
Yeah, Brad, do you rinse that gore out or what?
No, I don't.
You
I
know?
just clean the nesting material out and replace it. And then the next time I let it down, I put more 7 in it. They usually don't get soupy in 7 days. They just get real stinky.
Yeah.
And that's another, I guess, something I might mention. I watch my gourds every day with binoculars. If you start seeing a lot of flies around the entrance, let it down because you probably got a dead one in there. That's helped me a bunch of times. And I don't know if I lose more nestlings than most people, but I probably have 10 or 15 a year that I find dead in the nest.
So Brad, that's a good point. The PMCA states that, boy, I hope I get this right. And I'll post it on the forum.
Google, Kathy, Google.
The right number. But I think the average surviving nestlings per gourd or per pair is around 3.8, something like that. So even though they have 5, and you know, this is played out too with my nest checks, because when I first started out with nest checks, I was real diligent. But it's around 3.5, 3.8 nestlings average that survive. You will never have 100% of your nestlings survive. And if anybody is reporting 100% of their nestlings survive, they didn't do nest checks.
and there are people that report that.
I know.
There's one on the PMCA forum, not the Facebook page, and I'm not going to call them out, but one year they had 500 eggs and 500 fledglings.
Yeah. Okay.
No, they didn't.
No, it never happens. And I got to tell you, Mother Nature knows what's best for Mother Nature. You'll never have 500 or 100% fledge.
No.
You're
not going to have 100% hatch to start with.
No, exactly.
You're going to have, and I'm throwing numbers out. You're going to have better than 90% hatch, in my opinion. PMCA may say 78% for all I know, but in the deep south, you're going to have better than that, I think, because we don't have the fluctuation in cold temperatures most of the time after they really start incubating.
I have to say my numbers have always averaged 78, 79, 80%.
On hatch?
No, 80, 85, 90% on hatch.
Okay.
Always around 80%, 75%, somewhere in there, fledge.
Yeah, that's about normal for me
No
too.
matter what I do, 75 to 80% fledge. And you know what? That's doing everything right. So
yeah,
we're helping.
Yep.
We're still helping. So Lisa, did you have any questions, or Lori or Adriana and Travis, anybody?
It's Lisa. No, I don't really have any questions. I'm still mad at Brad because now I'm getting swamped with sparrows.
He cursed.
Sorry, Lisa. I'm sorry. Do I need to come kill them for you? I'm about out and I'll enjoy shooting them. So
he's got a new gun. He's got a Benjamin Marauder, Lisa.
If you want to do that.
Are you going to cook supper for me? That's all I want to know. And I'm not digging any holes while I'm there. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that. So
Lisa,
you're talking about the house sparrows. I hate to tell stories like this on myself, but I'm kind of a full disclosure guy. I've never used sparrow spookers on my bluebird houses because I aggressively trap and I super aggressively shoot year round. And when I got home from work yesterday, I was out in the front yard and walked by some rose bushes that have a bluebird house mounted really close to them. And I saw the top half of an eggshell. And I thought, oh, good, those baby bluebirds have hatched. And I didn't check. And today I was out there doing some weeding in one of the shrubbery beds. and I noticed a blue egg with the side of the shell gone. And I thought, that's not how an egg hatches. So I went over to the nest and it was completely cleaned out.
Yikes.
House sparrow got them. But luckily, this morning about 7 o'clock, I raised the kitchen window and shot one out of my backyard off the fence. I use our kitchen table for a gun rest.
Revenge.
Revenge, yes. So
I'm gonna go get one of those high-powered Nerf that shoots the balls and start shooting them to stun them. And then once they're down, I can grab them and dispose of them. I can't shoot here because I'm in the city.
Lisa,
And
get your new rack up.
I did. And that's where all the sparrows are. And last night, I kept hearing this squawking and I went to the window and a martin and a sparrow were fighting, and he had that martin and that martin was not doing well. So I ran out there and hit the pole so it would scare the sparrow to break him loose. And my husband was out there and I said, he's killing him. Like he can do anything. He's killing him. Help. But
So
they
you
were
can't-
very aggressive last night and I don't have enough traps. And at this rate, I would catch a martin for sure. So I've blocked a lot of the holes, the entrance holes, and I've gotten down to, there's still 3 out there that are very aggressive and I got to get.
Lisa, you could put an entrance reducer on your house really easily.
How? I know you said that. Well, like with a noodle or something?
Nope. Be right back.
Okay.
Lisa, what kind of house do you have?
It's a trio and I have the one that's on the door that actually is the door, and then I have 2 universal traps.
Oh, okay.
And with the universal traps, a martin can get right in there and I'll catch it.
Right.
Actually, I was out here a minute ago before I got on. And I think I did trap one. I've got to pull it down. I don't think it's martin. I'm told martins can't get into these. But I don't know if you guys can see it. It's orange.
Hang on, I need to unpin Brad's. Pin your unpin. Okay. Oh my God, you got it up. That's awesome. Yep, I see it.
The little orange thingy.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have the gourds up yet. But I was in a hurry because I did see an SY, I believe, because the male martin was not having it. He was like, nope, out of here. Bye.
Right.
So I'm thinking it was an SY. I can't hardly tell them apart.
Okay, Brad, show us how to reduce the entrance. Brad's screen. Brad, we can't hear you. No audio.
Yeah.
You there?
Now,
Now we can hear you.
okay. Hey, Lisa.
Yes.
Okay.
Got my glasses on.
Are you paying attention?
Yes,
This is
sir.
this is a Cool Whip lid.
Technical.
Technical. You are going to take a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, and you are going to draw a rectangle like that, except make it prettier.
Wait, you're gonna have to hold it up, Brad. We can't see it. Hold it up, up.
Oh.
There we go.
Cover your face.
That's
There you
better.
go.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay. Then you are going to draw an 1.5 inch circle. Low down to the bottom.
Okay.
Yep.
See it?
Yes.
Then you're going to take your scissors
I love it.
and you're gonna cut it out.
My tongue, though.
Can't work if I don't do that.
Is that the stormtrooper behind you?
What?
A stormtrooper, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's my ice water.
Sure.
It is. Fella gets thirsty doing VSTs. Then you're gonna have that,
Wait,
and then
Brad, hold that back up, please. Okay, got it. Thank you.
you're going to cut the little hole out, and to do that, you're gonna fold it in half. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Just like construction
Nice.
paper in kindergarten. And then you're gonna cut around that circle. And Bob's your uncle. You've got an introducer. Which camera am I on? I don't even know.
Yep, I got it.
Then you're gonna take some electrical tape, and you're gonna not duct tape. Do not use duct tape. And you're gonna tape it over your entrance. Spare goes in, Martin can't.
Okay.
There you go.
And that's an inch and a half.
Awesome. Thank you. I will be doing that.
If you ever need any redneck engineering done, I'm your guy.
Okay.
If you need professional engineering done, call someone else.
Gotcha.
Brad, that was an inch and a half, right? That ended up.
Yes. You're gonna have to play with that a little bit, because if you've got crescents, you only got 1 3/16 inches tall. So
I got crescent.
I still think a spare could go in 1.5 inches wide by 1 3/16 inches tall hole. But if they
Okay.
can't, you might have to make it slightly wider.
But a martin can't go in there.
No way.
That's the idea.
No way.
You set your trap and you won't trap a martin.
Yes. You could run those traps year round like that, or all season long.
Right.
If you had a couple of rooms you wanted to.
Your
If you
sparrows,
had
are your martins ever leave, Brad? Because every time you're on, mine will leave.
Lisa, we're losing you, darling.
I didn't hear you, Lisa.
I say,
Yeah.
on here, I can always hear your background.
Okay, it's bad signal, Lisa. If you could get back near your Wi-Fi.
Hi.
Cannot hear you. darling.
Are they constantly?
I can't hear
Uh-oh.
you, Lisa. I hear you now.
Hello?
I hear
Okay.
you now.
Okay. That's odd.
You
I
asked
said,
if my
do your
martins
birds
ever
not ever
left.
leave?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I mean, every
Oh.
time you're on here, I can always hear them, and mine are like, they're gone right now. So it's so quiet.
Well, keep in mind there's a couple of different things going on here. I have a lot of SYs that are here right now, so the ASYs don't venture too far off, because if they do, the SY is going to go in and do something bad to an egg, or I don't know if they remove eggs or not, but they definitely remove those little pink martin babies.
You
And
have
I'm
eggs
about
right now?
Yes, I have.
Cool.
I'm 150 eggs now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any eggs. Just now got them paired up.
I don't have any yet either, Lisa. They're still figuring out who's who out there.
Yeah.
Lisa, did you just say you caught a sparrow?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll let you
good.
see. Well, I haven't took the house down, but I don't believe a martin can fit in it. They're not supposed to.
Okay.
I got to do it.
Well, I hope you caught him.
Something's in there.
All right, guys. Any more questions about nest checks?
I'm sure there's something that I forgot to tell somebody, but I don't know what it was.
So we covered frequency. We talked about capped eggs. We talked about dealing with runts. We talked about adding nest material. We talked about removing dead nestlings or adults even, or fouled nests. We talked about the use of 7 dust. I can't think of anything else unless anybody has anything.
The only thing we didn't talk about that everybody's going to run into at some point in time is eggs sitting on a bare plastic floor. I generally try to put nesting material under them when they are, but just know that the next time you let it back down, they might be right back down on the bare nest. So I've had lots of martins hatch from an egg on the bare floor.
Yeah.
It's not ideal by any means, but it does happen, and it's not a deal breaker. So don't freak out.
Okay.
That's all I could come up with.
Nice job, Brad. Thank you.
Well, you're more than welcome.
Thanks
And
everyone for attending.
if anybody wants to see me get shot, tune in Monday.
Yep.
Now look, y'all gonna have to behave Monday because we're doing a joint thing with the Purple Martin Society of North Carolina. So, you know, I'm gonna have on my best overalls. All right, guys, I had fun.
Everybody,
Thank you so much, Brad. I
You're welcome,
appreciate it.
Laurie. Thank y'all all, and you're
Thank
all
you.
welcome.
thank you.
All right,
Thanks, Brad. Bye.
bye.
Bye.